All right, let's unlock some secrets. Today, we're stepping into the world of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
Ooh, the Golden Dawn.
Not your average book club.
Right.
We're talking elaborate rituals, complex symbolism,
Yeah.
and a hierarchy that would make a medieval guild blush.
The Golden Dawn is endlessly fascinating. It wasn't just about dusty old books and, arcane knowledge. They were actively engaging with unseen forces, attempting to bridge the gap between the physical and the spiritual.
And for this deep dive, you've brought us a particularly intriguing piece of the puzzle, a ritual designed for the Theoricus grade,
Yes.
involving the Archangel Raphael.
That's right.
I was looking over the instructions, and I have to say, black robes, a striped headpiece, wands, talismans, it's a whole vibe.
It certainly sets the stage for something special. And remember, the Golden Dawn was all about creating a specific atmosphere to enhance their work. And this ritual is no exception. Every element is carefully chosen for its symbolic meaning and its potential to shift consciousness.
So let's break this down. What exactly does it mean to be a Theoricus in this elaborate system?
So the Theoricus grade is where things start to get really interesting. You've moved beyond the basics, demonstrating a solid understanding of magical principles.
Okay.
It's a transition from the practical to the theoretical, a deepening of understanding.
So they're not just like waving wands and chanting anymore. They're starting to grapple with the why behind the magic.
Exactly. And the ritual we're examining reflects that shift. Consider the black robe and the black and white striped nemes.
Okay.
On the surface, they might seem like, just fancy dress, but they hint at a deeper transformation.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about the symbolism here.
Well, the black robe suggests a withdrawal from the mundane world, a symbolic separation from the everyday. But in the context of the Theoricus grade, it takes on another layer of meaning. It could represent a withdrawal into the mental realm, a focus on the inner world of thought and contemplation.
So it's not just about like physically removing yourself, it's about shifting your mental state, entering a different mode of awareness.
Precisely. And then we have the black and white stripes of the nemes, symbolizing duality, the interplay of opposing forces that is so central to Hermetic thought. This is key for the Theoricus, who is wrestling with complex concepts, attempting to reconcile seeming opposites.
It's almost like they're dressing the part of a scholar mage, visually representing their commitment to both knowledge and the unseen forces they're trying to understand.
And then we have the outer wand of double power, a tool unique to the Theoricus grade. This is more than just a symbolic prop. It represents their growing ability to work with subtle energies, to direct and shape those forces.
So the wand is a tool, but also a badge of their progress within the order. It signifies their growing authority and understanding.
Precisely. It's fascinating how even the seemingly mundane objects in this ritual are imbued with such significance. Take the yellow candle, for example. It's likely there to represent Raphael, as yellow is often associated with archangels and divine wisdom.
Ah, so the color choice isn't arbitrary. It's a way of visually connecting with the specific energy they're invoking.
Right. And then we have the rose, a symbol loaded with meaning. Of course, it evokes beauty and love. But in esoteric traditions, it often represents the soul's unfolding, the blossoming of spiritual awareness. It's interesting to consider its placement in this ritual.
Almost like a reminder of the potential for transformation that this connection with Raphael might offer.
And let's not forget the talismanic emblem, personalized with Raphael's name in Hebrew. In magical practices, personalized symbols are crucial. They act as points of focus, anchoring intention and connecting the practitioner to specific energies.
It's amazing how deliberate every choice seems to be, from the clothing to the colors to the arrangement of the space itself. It really highlights the intentionality behind this practice.
And speaking of the space, the source describes a very specific layout for the Theoricus Hall, designed to enhance the ritual's effectiveness.
So it's not just about the objects, but about creating an environment that's conducive to the magical experience.
Exactly. The physical space becomes part of the ritual, a sacred container for the work being done.
So we've got the stage set, the costume is on point, and the air is thick with anticipation. What happens next in this Theoricus ritual?
Well, the ritual unfolds in a series of carefully orchestrated steps, each designed to guide the practitioner deeper into the experience. It begins with the fourfold breath, a technique for calming the mind and achieving a state of focused awareness.
Oh, that's interesting. You see variations of this breathing technique in a lot of different spiritual traditions. It seems to be a universal key for shifting consciousness.
It speaks to its effectiveness and its ability to transcend cultural boundaries. Once the practitioner has achieved a state of calm focus, they declare, Hecus, Hecus, este bebeloi.
Whoa, okay, that sounds pretty intense. What's the significance of that phrase?
It's a Greek phrase, and while its exact meaning is debated, it's generally understood as a declaration of sacred space, a way of setting boundaries between the mundane world and the ritual space.
So it's like drawing a line in the sand, saying, this is where the magic happens.
Precisely. It's a powerful statement of intention, a way of signaling a shift in reality.
Right.
And then we have the LBRP, the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram.
Ah, yes, one of the Golden Dawn's most famous rituals. I've heard a bit about this one, but I'm still not entirely clear on what it entails.
It's essentially a ritual for purification and protection. It involves tracing pentagrams in the air, visualizing divine light, and reciting specific invocations. The goal is to clear the space of any unwanted energies, creating a clean slate for the work ahead.
So it's like an energetic cleanse, ensuring that the space is properly prepared for the connection with Raphael.
Exactly. And once the space is purified and protected, the ritual moves into a series of invocations, calling upon specific divine names and angelic beings.
And is there a particular reason for invoking these specific beings?
Each name and title carries a specific significance, and they're carefully chosen to align with the purpose of the ritual. The source mentions Shaddai El Chai, a Hebrew name for God, associated with life force and abundance. Then, of course, there's Raphael, the Archangel of Healing.
So it's like they're building a ladder of divine energy, starting with a foundation of life force and ascending towards the specific energy of Raphael.
And there are two other angelic names mentioned, Sasan and Errol. These are lesser-known beings, but their presence in this ritual suggests a connection to Raphael. They likely represent specific aspects of Raphael's healing power.
It's fascinating how each element builds upon the last, creating this intricate tapestry of meaning.
And then there's the mention of the caduceus of Hermes, a symbol of healing and transformation. This connects the ritual to Hermetic principles, reminding us of the interconnectedness of different esoteric traditions.
So it's not just drawing from one specific lineage, but weaving together threads from various traditions.
Exactly. And then we have two terms that often spark debate. Paraios de rejectus and Aruachsich. Their exact meanings are still being explored, but some scholars believe they relate to a stage of initiation or spiritual development within the Golden Dawn system.
Could it be that they represent a specific threshold that the Theoricus is crossing in this ritual?
That's a very insightful observation. It certainly seems possible that these terms are marking a point of transition, acknowledging the Theoricus' progress on their spiritual journey.
It adds a layer of depth to the experience, acknowledging that the ritual is not just a one-off event, but part of a larger process of growth and transformation.
And this theme of movement and progression is further emphasized by the next action, circumambulation. The Theoricus walks around the temple 3 times, a symbolic act found in many spiritual traditions.
What do you think is the significance of this movement?
Circumambulation often represents a journey, a movement through different realms or states of consciousness. It could signify the Theoricus' willingness to embrace the unknown, to journey into the depths of their own being.
It's like a spiral moving inward towards a central point, a deeper understanding.
And then we have the adoration to the Lord of the universe, a prayer acknowledging the divine source of all creation. It's a moment of humility, a recognition of something greater than oneself.
So after this journey inward, there's an outward gesture of reverence and connection to the source.
Precisely. And notice that the source mentions the projection sign, a gesture used to direct energy outwards. It suggests an active engagement with the divine, a dynamic exchange rather than passive contemplation.
So it's not just about receiving, it's about participating in the flow of divine energy.
Exactly. And then we have something unique to this ritual, the Theoricus sign. While the exact gesture isn't described, it's clearly significant within the context of this grade.
I wonder if it's a way of identifying oneself as a Theoricus, a gesture that signifies their understanding and their connection to Raphael.
That's a fascinating interpretation. It's certainly possible that this sign is a way of communicating on a subtle level, a visual affirmation of the connection between the Theoricus and the Archangel.
And it sets the stage for the heart of the ritual. The guided meditation with Raphael, this is where the real magic happens, right?
Precisely. We've set the stage, purified the space, invoked divine powers, and now it's time to connect with Raphael directly. The source emphasizes the importance of visualization imagining Raphael in vivid detail.
So it's not just about abstract concepts, it's about creating a tangible experience in the mind's eye.
Exactly. And the source goes beyond just visualizing. It stresses the importance of feeling, of receptivity. It's about opening yourself up to Raphael's presence and allowing the experience to unfold intuitively.
So it's not just a mental exercise, it's about cultivating a state of openness and allowing for a deeper connection to occur.
And to further enhance that connection, the source describes Raphael's traditional appearance: flowing yellow and violet robes, the Caduceus wand. These visual details anchor the meditation, providing a focal point for the practitioner's attention.
It's like they're creating a bridge between the physical and the spiritual, using
Mm.
symbolic imagery as a point of connection. It's really quite beautiful.
And it highlights the potential for anyone to connect with these spiritual beings. It's not about dogma or blind faith, but about developing the inner capacity to perceive and interact with subtle energies.
Yeah, it's fascinating how much emphasis is placed on both the mental preparation and the visual elements of this ritual. It really speaks to the Golden Dawn's understanding of how our minds work, how powerful visualization can be in, shaping our reality.
Absolutely. They understood that the mind is a powerful tool, and that by engaging the imagination, we can access deeper levels of consciousness and connect with forces beyond the material world.
We've talked about the symbolism of the black robe, the namus, the wand, the specific colors. It's also intricately woven together.
Hmm.
But I'm curious, what happens after this profound meditative experience with Raphael? How does the Theoricus integrate that encounter and return to the, everyday world?
That's a great question. The source describes a series of actions that follow the meditation, each with its own symbolic significance. The first action is quite simple: inhaling the fragrance of the rose.
That seems almost too mundane after such a profound experience. Is there a deeper meaning behind this, seemingly simple act?
Remember, the rose symbolizes the soul's unfolding, the blossoming of spiritual awareness. By inhaling its fragrance, the Theoricus could be symbolically grounding the insights and energies received during the meditation, bringing them into the physical body.
It's like a reminder that the spiritual work isn't meant to stay abstract. It's meant to be embodied, to permeate our everyday lives.
Exactly. And then there's a period of quiet reflection, meditating on the talismanic emblem. This is a time for personal integration, for processing the experience and gleaning insights from it.
So it's not just about the experience itself, it's about taking the time to reflect, to understand what it means for you, personally.
Precisely. And then we have the reverse circumambulation, walking around the temple in the opposite direction.
Interesting. Earlier, we talked about circumambulation as a journey inward, a descent into deeper levels of consciousness. I imagine this reversal signifies a return to the mundane world, a reintegration of those insights.
That's a very astute observation. It's like completing the circle, bringing the transformed consciousness back into everyday life. And then comes a common element in many magical rituals: releasing any imprisoned spirits. This is done to ensure that no unintended entities remain bound to the space, maintaining its purity and sanctity.
So it's like cleaning up energetically and making sure everything is in order before closing the ritual space.
Exactly. And finally, the ritual concludes with the closing of the temple, formally ending the sacred space and returning to a normal state of consciousness.
It's a powerful reminder that even though these rituals can take us to extraordinary places, we eventually have to return to our everyday lives.
But the hope is that we return transformed, carrying those insights and energies with us.
This deep dive has been truly illuminating. We've uncovered so much about the Theoricus ritual, the symbolism, the intentionality, the profound experience it offers. But I think what's most striking is how relevant these ancient practices feel to our, modern lives.
Absolutely. The Golden Dawn might seem like a relic of the past, but their understanding of the power of ritual, symbolism, and the mind's ability to shape reality is timeless.
It's a reminder that we all have the potential to access those deeper levels of consciousness, to connect with unseen forces, and to shape our own realities.
And who knows? Maybe by understanding and adapting these ancient practices, we can unlock new possibilities within ourselves and create our own transformative experiences.
This has been a fascinating journey. Thank you for sharing your expertise and guiding us through this intricate ritual.
It's been my pleasure. Always happy to explore the mysteries of the Golden Dawn.
And for you listening, if you were to create your own ritual for connecting with a guiding force or accessing deeper wisdom, what elements would you include? And what might that tell you about your own unique path?